All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone. Russell Wright, Project Breakthrough. Sue Bell is here. Jimmy Kelley is on the line, but I haven't heard him speak yet.
I'm here.
Oh, he's here. Good to see you, Jimmy. We are here for Project Breakthrough, and the room is filling up. We just got off of another webinar, which is our Network Empire Monthly crazy webinar where we talk about almost anything goes. Not everything, but almost everything.
I should say not everything.
Want to remind you of the rules of the attendance. This is the OMG, www.omg.software, and this is the question form at the bottom. Sue is still digging those things up. Probably one of us will grab the screen here in a second. And I would like to welcome everybody as they're coming in. Can you please give us a 1 if you can hear us? For your protection, we would remind you that we have a 0 tolerance for digital theft. So this is for you guys' protection. We value all the time, energy, and money you've spent to be on this webinar. So don't share this stuff, you guys. And gals, obviously. Ryan, it's good to see you again. You are a dedicated, really dedicated dude. This is your second webinar today. Hi, Craig. Hi, Pip. Looks like Wayne is here. Jay is here. Graham is here. Everybody's just rolling in finally. So today we are going to discuss the questions here in a second. And if for some reason you've missed adding your question, you can go here and they will be answered next week. Next week. Okay, so everybody can hear us. Good, good, good. Fantastic.
Oh yeah, the question box.
We're still waiting for the question back. So if you have any questions, sometimes you can toss them in the window here in the questions window, and we will attempt to make an answer. If you've got a microphone, we'd like to bring you live so that we know. Sorry, I'm trying to find a place so we can torture you on live television. Yes, that is the plan here. I'm just
I have my lips.
really kidding, really kidding. We're here to help, and although we cover the items that we spoke about in Project Breakthrough, Dave Mills has asked me to make an announcement, which we'll also announce before we go. Tomorrow, hopefully Jimmy will feel well enough. There is a webinar with Cotton Grammar in which Jimmy is going to be there and one of the focal points of attention for a significant amount of time, in which we will be talking about the new software we released in relationship to Amazon. I'm not supposed to talk about it much here, but it is something that Jimmy and Sue have spec'd out, created, designed, and implemented. Costs a lot of time and money to develop, and you'll be really excited about it. So
we can't talk about it here.
That's the promise. Well, we can, but I said that I wouldn't. I said that I wouldn't pre-sell it too much. It's
fine.
Supposed to be formally. I don't know how this all works. Okay, everybody's got their own movie going. So Ryan said something that I just don't understand, and I'm not going to try to figure it out.
Oh, that was in response to my comment.
Okay. And what else was I going to say? Okay, if you have something that you would like to discuss, feel free to drop it in the window. If it's outside of the realm of domain authority stacking, Project Breakthrough, say you want to talk about business development, you want to talk about contracts, again, you know, probably this webinar would bill out around somewhere in the ballpark of 14K. If our team was pulled into a corporate consulting, which we've done before. Sue and I have done a lot of those. Jimmy's done his own. Make use of this time because we're here for you. We really value guys as our close inner circle and family. So go ahead and throw stuff out there. If it's SEO, great. If it's digital marketing, great. If it's business development, you know, for instance, gee, Sue, how do you get a $27,000 contract? Or Jimmy, how do you handle an SEO contract that's $30,000 or greater? Hey, you know, we'll try to help you. If you guys really have a question.
Soft shoe.
First of all, you write the contract and you convert it to Klingon. And then you make up weird digits and maps and you slap it on there. Make sure they don't understand it, and then you mail it to the gatekeeper and walk away. That's how we actually submit our proposals. I'm just kidding, you guys. Mario says, can this new software work outside of Amazon? Well, Mario, the Rankazon software was designed, which you guys can see the link to it right here. And actually, it is up for availability, and you can purchase and everything. I just can't. It's a spin-off of Social Explosion, so it works exactly like Social Explosion does on the back end, but it has the unique capacity of targeting Amazon seller ID pages, okay, or stores essentially. And it works as one store at a time. And again, this is going to get covered quite a bit tomorrow. There's a help file here. You can, Sue has been working on this very hard. I'm actually creating the features bullet points tonight in my spare time. And, and it's a beautiful piece of software written by, spec'd out by Jimmy and Sue and written by Kelly Reynolds, who is super, super hardcore, high quality programmer. And of course, you can just click on the link here, and there's really no feature list. There's really no sales page. That's how exclusive to OMG this is. This is only for you guys. So just making sure you know that. Okay, so we covered that. Yeah, people are asking about Jimmy's product, Get Rich Quick product, $500 with 20 minutes to work. No, we're not going to launch that anytime soon. That is something that's on the list for jimmykelley.digital, and we do not have a planned launch for that type of thing. It's really, really a cool program, but we're not really gonna, we don't have a time for you. Here's our schedule, our rollout schedule, guys. We've got to get Rankazon rolling, and we have to finish the deep silo plugin, the simple silo plugin, and we're also finishing up the automaticvideotraffic.com course. And I'm flying to Austin here in just a few days. And during that time, I think I can have a real conversation with Jimmy about the reality and some kind of time frame for that course, pending Sue's conversation as well.
Whip?
Yeah, pending Sue, Jimmy and I both ducking and avoiding her whip. Who knows? We'll see what happens. I'll talk to Jimmy about that, and we'll see what's going on. Thanks for asking. On that note, there is no get-rich-quick scheme on the internet. Anybody ever told you that? They're lying. They're lying. You can get good rankings, and rankings and fast methods of getting ranked are good. And even when Jimmy releases that type of information, or we release the type of information about how to make decent money and the rest, you always got to make sure you have a solid internal infrastructure, a business infrastructure. It's called business development. Anybody ever been here and had an affiliate stop paying them? Give me a 1 if you've ever had an affiliate. I won't mention my $25,000 worth of affiliate commissions that somebody decided not to pay. Just give me a 1 if you've ever had that happen to you. 1, you had an affiliate program and you were owed money and they never paid you. Give me a 1 if you've had that happen. A 2 if you have not. Okay. There's an awful lot of 1s coming down the street. Holy smokes. Okay. Finally, the 2s start coming in. All right. Bottom line, guys and gals, business development 101. If you don't control the product, you don't control bleep. Got it?
The profit?
Yes. You cannot manufacture wealth unless you own the product. Not very easily. You can borrow wealth through persuasion and rankings, but you cannot own the wealth architecture if you do not own the product. And you cannot engineer wealth long term if you do not own the product. This is a key functionality that's beyond SEO and digital marketing. I want everybody to understand that, and don't get started on Sue's whip.
Beyond hacking.
Yes, you can hack people's products. It's still, can you hack the wealth architecture? Yeah, basically, if you know how to work. I know I do. But again, even so, your business is your wealth. Your business is the best way to create a tax-deferred and taxed architecture for yourself so that you keep what you earn. So I want you guys to just be aware of that everything that we look at is all about wealth engineering, and your business is the best way to do that. Whether you're an agency or firm, your product is a value extension of your business. Okay, and the further are you away from the source of value, the more likely you are to get screwed. It's not a real business. Okay, so what we teach, everything that Sue's ever taught me, everything that we will ever teach you, is to be only one step away from the source of that transaction. And then you own the transaction. They have no transaction, they no get their service. They don't give you a transaction, you don't get paid, they don't get their rankings. You don't have the transaction. One step away, you don't work for them anymore. Give me a 1 if you guys understand that. That real business infrastructure is owning the transaction, owning the wealth architecture, owning the transaction, and being able to turn it off. You guys got that? There you go. Don't have 4 hoops you got to jump through. Well, if I get this right, I talked to somebody the other day, I think it was when he's really doing great now. Well, this guy got people ranked all day long, but he was also trying to get them traffic. He was trying to send them, pink tutus in the mail. As long if the ranking was if the ranking was 1 through 2, they will pay me $14. If the ranking is 3 through 7, they give me 3. The payment matrix was so complex and so uncontrollable. He was like 3 steps away from the value point in the transaction in his wealth architecture. Just crazy. You guys, it's really straightforward. Take the thing that you're good at, your stupid human trick, the one thing that you rock at, and hopefully that's SEO. I talked to another person the other day. SEO they're okay with inbound marketing and SEO, but they're actually much, much better in pay-per-click. And then I asked him, why are you, if you're this master at pay-per-click, he showed me this pay-per-click results, his retargeting results. I was like, holy crap, I've never seen anybody ever be this good at retargeting. I'm like, dude, you're hired, one of those things. And I found out his business is like SEO. I was like, have you ever got anybody ranked? He's like, no, I'm still trying to figure out how to log into my Wordpress. I'm like, what the hell are you doing with SEO? And I'm like, do you want to do this? And he's like, no, not really. I like people. So I guess the point is you got to figure out what it is that you're good at. Stay one step away from that value transaction. Remember one thing, you guys, is really, really important, gals. Just because it's easy for you doesn't mean that it's not incredibly valuable, that people will pay a boatload of money for others just because it's easy for you. Remember that, okay? Doesn't have to. I don't care. Like Jimmy can click a button and rank for a $200,000 keyword. I've seen him do it. Just because it's easy for him, do you think it's less profitable or less valuable to everybody else? Totally not, right? Am I being rhetorical? I guess I am.
I still can't do it.
I just want you guys to, I don't know what it is about this week, but I keep getting all of these people that I'm talking to. When I start talking to you guys, there's business, Sue is my business development mentor, right, for a decade. And this is the kind of stuff that we deal with every day. And we want to transfer that knowledge on to you. Business development is just as important as SEO and digital marketing. Okay, should I get off my soapbox, Sue?
Probably.
Okay, let's see here.
There was a great question about how to pick a winning product. I could say a couple things about
Yeah, why don't you
that.
talk to that? Don't get you started, though. I'm afraid. Oh, you guys got her started. Okay, Sue, go for it. Here's the soapbox. I'm pushing it over to your desk.
Thanks. Yeah, let me just grab it from you.
Okay.
My number one pet peeve about picking a physical product is don't have one that's got fulfillment limitations, right? So one of the first physical products that I decided to be an affiliate for, their product, they manufactured it in Korea, and they had a warehouse, quote, full of stock, unquote.
Oh, I know what you're
And
talking
I
about.
spent about 60 days
Oh,
driving
yes.
traffic and sold the warehouse out. So I'm just getting rocking, right? Like I haven't even really warmed up yet.
And then you gave that business to your friend, fully profitable and operating and running on all 4 pistons. That was amazing.
And so, yeah, so make sure that there's no issues with however you're getting your product created, whatever that manufacturing process is, make sure that there are no limitations there.
Yeah, this is a true story that Sue, I'm not going to get any details allowed. We're not even going to get into the product because, yeah, just because. And
just because.
The thing with that is that, this person had an amazingly good business, actually. It was a little unfair because Sue kickstarted it and literally, vacated the warehouse, and they were like, whoops, we better get our, we have another problem to get all
Waterfowl linearly oriented?
Customs, oh my God, customs. But here's the thing is that this person had a core product and was 100%, they were affiliate and it was a very expensive, highly profitable commission that came from it. And yet it was known for many, many months. In fact, that saga still continues, Sue. It was really bad, right? It's pretty much over. So it was really, really known that this was coming to an end. And this person felt so helpless because they were just an affiliate. There was opportunities, but you guys know that you can buy businesses and offset that, for your business. It's actually a great investment. Investing in your own business is one of the main wealth builders there is, okay? It's way better than a lot of other businesses. But, this person was just having a struggle trying to figure out what to do. And really, this was her only source of income. And so what we're really saying is diversify a little bit. Look at the big picture. Look at how many points away you are from the value distribution from the transaction. And we're just talking to quite a few of you where that is an issue. And if you're a service-based company, just make sure you can turn off the service, if possible. Jimmy,
Well,
what
you can always redesign it so that
you can
if somebody
engineer it.
stops paying you, yeah, you can re-engineer it so that if somebody stops paying you, that gets turned off.
Jimmy,
The
what do
other
you do
thing,
when somebody stops paying you for a service?
I unpoint the power.
It's like pivot, turn, heel.
Rank could just go away.
Yes, and
Then
that's
when they pay again, you repoint the power.
exactly, and that's the engineering I'm really pointing at for you guys, is this part of the hidden system that Jimmy is showing you, that Sue's showing you, is that most of it can be set up so that the juice can be reallocated when somebody doesn't pay you. There's just too many of my friends, too many of you that I care about, who there's nothing you can really do. You could do all, I'm talking to a couple of you who are like doing the work before you get paid. You know, I'm sorry, I'm just on a ramble today, but anyway, where's the spreadsheet?
I get it.
Do you want to grab the screen, Sue?
Sure.
Okay.
Alrighty. So there were a couple of other. Let me just look at what's going by on the screen.
Winning through intimidation. Yeah, Paula read it. It's really awesome. Thank you.
So Norman says, went through the domain authority stacking course. Can you talk about your web ring theory? What exactly is a WR1, WR blah, blah, blah? Can you describe what the semantic web is? So fascinating. So in brief, what's the keyword I need here? One web ring? I always go a couple of jumps before I find the right page. All right. So this is an image of the web ring system. In your WR1, this is your branded domain, and the WRS1 are your branded third-party platforms, social media platforms and third-party platforms. So what I mean by branded is that those are your money sites. Now if you're an affiliate, that's still your money site. So the WR1 is going to be the domain that you own, and then all of the rest of the rings are designed to drive traffic and rank juice to the money site. So so everything that has an S in it, those are third-party platforms, and everything that's just like a WR1, WR2, W3, those are domains that you own. So I'll admit I've never actually had to go out as far as the WR3 ring. I've always been able to do all of my rankings through the WR2s and WRS2s. But the idea is there if you wanted to get that intense with it. And so it's something that I've been working on since 2009, and over the course of the last couple of years, Jimmy and I have kind of taken it apart and put it back together again. But the thing of it is it's a framework, so it's a system, it's an idea, it's a holistic perspective for all of your inbound marketing, so that all you have to do, once you have everything set up, all you have to do is blog on your WR1 site, and that blog post is echoed through the entire ring system and serves as inbound marketing from a wide variety of platforms. So there's all kinds of automation, obviously, that has to go on, and there's more content than just your blog that gets pulled into the WR2 and WRS2 that constitutes a lot of long tails and a lot of tangent topics. And so by using this system, you set up a framework that's going to basically dominate your market, right? It's going to slowly swallow all of the keywords in your market and rank for everything, and some of them less slowly than others. But over the course of, it grows ad infinitum. So, so you start out by targeting the keywords that you really want, And then as it grows, you're going to find other pain concepts and related or slightly tangent ideas that convert well for you. And so then you grab those ideas and you incorporate them back into the WR1 and WRS1 system. So the stuff in the WR2 and WRS2, you start with a base list of keywords. So in your WR1, like we target more than just one keyword per page, up to five. 4 or 5 I find is a really nice sweet spot. So if you've got, say, a 30-page site, then you've got 30 times 5, you've got 150 keywords roughly that you're targeting on your money site and on the blog. And when you put that through a set of drills that we have in Kraken, it comes out with someplace between, I don't know, 3,000 and 10,000 keywords, depending on how broad your market is. And all of those other keywords go into the domains in your WR2 domains, and that's where the auto-blogging starts, right? So the auto-blogging happens, and it pulls in tangent keywords related to that and long tails, and basically just swallows the whole thing up. And then you get reports back that tell you what's converting and what's working well, and you can decide how you want to append concepts to your WR1 site, to your money site, based off of that. So, as I said, it's a framework, and it can shift and change as the internet shifts and changes. So the idea is you set this up once, and then it doesn't matter what happens. Like, let's say that, you know, a few years ago when we first started setting this up, Amazon, there wasn't really a strong market, seller's market or market seller on Amazon, but now today a lot of people who have their own domains and their own e-commerce sites are also marketing on Amazon. And then there you have other people who only market on Amazon. Well, what happens if you're only marketing on Amazon and Amazon decides they don't like you and they shut off your seller ID? You're screwed. But if you have your domain, this plan is 100% you-centric, and with the ideas that you control your primary money site, and you use every third-party platform as a way to drive traffic into your money site. So let's say you've got almost every e-commerce platform, almost everything has the 80-20 rule, right, where you've got 20% of your products that bring in 80% of your revenue. So you take that 20% of your products and you put those up on Amazon, and you use that to gain brand awareness. And every time somebody buys your product, you can include a card or whatever, or it can be right on the label of the product, and that encourages people to come to your website. And you know, you can throw in flyers and stuff that offer coupons, discount coupons, to bring people back and get that inbound traffic off of Amazon or Facebook. You can do the same sort of thing, right? You can set up a store on Facebook. You can set up stores on a bunch of other platforms. And so that's the idea behind the ring system and what it does.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. You've been trying to end this day all day.
No, I haven't. David Duncan asked, what part of the Network Empire membership? Here's an important thing to understand, folks, that this is intrinsic in all Network Empire philosophy.
Yes.
Okay, excluding jimmykelley.digital, where we can do things that are absolutely forbidden. Oh, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. It's one of those days, guys. This is a philosophy that's included in the overall philosophy, and the advanced teachings where this is integrated. Actually, Sue and I calculated over the weekend how much training we have. It's about 300 days. It's 43 weeks worth of training that we have, certification level 1 through 5 certification training. And once a member, always a member. Those are advanced training that are not included in the software bundle membership price. So that is an advanced training course if you actually want to go on the fast track to that. But all of this is pretty much intrinsic to the general overlay and philosophy at Network Empire, okay? And then the hardcore root SEO stuff that we talk about is also included in our live certification event when Jimmy is there, and we get into that type of stuff. And then if you want to be really black and dark and horribly evil, then you have to corner him personally at our private events elsewhere. Usually located at an undisclosed location in the Swiss Alps, flown in by helicopter.
In a basement with no windows
Where we
and
tell
no
you,
recording devices.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of the Scientology cruise, you know, where we reveal to you that the universe is not real and that the evil Lord Zeno is in control. So that is how we operate, and we just want to let you know how that works. So Peter Coyle says, lots of beer. True, there is. You guys are really a hoot. This is a really huge call, Sue. There's hundreds of people on this call.
Nice.
Ryan says, well, I'm turned on. Good for you, Ryan. Something had to do it. You're a good guy. Okay, more questions, Sue. What should we do?
Oh, questions are the answer.
Questions are the answer, quite literally. Aren't
We have
they?
another question from
Aren't
Nora.
they?
They are.
Are questions the answer?
I think I said that.
That was recursive. Go ahead. Who's next? Bring it.
All right.
You're welcome, David.
When exactly would you implement DAS? If you were starting out with a new site, would you throw PBNs at it first, and if it didn't move, do DAS? Or is it something that you should do at the beginning? So, you know, so the training that we have in OMG land, it starts with a 5 iframe punch, and it moves out to the one feed system, and then it moves out to DAS, and that's kind of the way that I would do it, because the 5 iframe punch, if we go back to this little thingy over here, the 5 iframe punch is all about putting your content here on your branded social media platforms. And it looks quite natural that, you know, you've got, as a business, you've got social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and every time you do a blog post, you post to those things. And so that's a really natural thing to do. Those are our natural inbound links that you can get. And then you can take your feed and you can put it in a bunch of places, including Social Explosion, and that also looks natural. So that's actually more like in the WRS2 realm that you start getting some links in from there. And so the last thing that I would probably do after I've got a few of those links, then it looks more natural for somebody else to pick up the fact that you have content and a website and start creating content that's got links to you. Right? So that's probably when I would implement DAS.
Fantastic. No, Paula, I didn't say Scientology wasn't real. I just made a funny comment. For any Scientologists in the audience, the real truth is we are Scientologists. That's how we do all this. I'm just messing with you. Okay, you have a respect for everybody's belief system. Okay, so let's see here. What other questions? What do you want to move on to? Coco's got a lot of questions. Huge number.
Indeed.
Coco, why you have so many questions? You want to hit Rankazon, even though we're not supposed to?
Rankazon. When I add another product to Amazon account.
I've never heard it.
So Rankazon, the lovely thing about Rankazon is it's 100% hands-free. What you want to do, if you're brand new to Amazon, you want to put all your products in your product store before you turn Rankazon on. Because what happens is, as soon as you subscribe to Rankazon, and it takes about an hour the first time, just to make sure that you got your account set up the way that you want. And then it's going to go out and it's going to find all of your products. And so if you don't have, if you know that you're going to load up other products, but you just haven't done it yet, that's why you want to do that before you get started. So once it finds all of your products, it's going to take the pool of credits that you subscribed to, and it's going to assign those credits to each one of your products and schedule out the entire promotions for the entire month, right? So if you've got 500 products, let's do it the other way around. If you have 100 products and you've got 500 credit package, then it's going to put 5 credits or 5 inbound links to each one of those Amazon pages. And so if you add another product in the middle of the month, it won't reread or go look for new products until the end of the month. Gosh, another Rankazon question. Does Rankazon plugin update on products that have been added during the month?
It's not a plugin, guys.
It's not a plugin, but that's okay. I know what you And yeah, it'll as soon as your subscription renews, it takes a moment and goes and checks. And so if you have any products that are out of stock, it's going to drop those from the list of what's going to be promoted. And if you have any new products, it'll add those. What is the fastest way to rank a private label Amazon product #1 that is high competition?
It's going to be a combination of the methods that Jimmy and Sue teach in backlinking, but it's not going to be Rankazon by itself. You'll get all the bumps, but you'll need to do some additional stuff if it's very competitive.
Exactly.
They're also going to have to deal with, they need to get it up on page 1 within Amazon as well. Usually.
Right. Nice.
So people that do that need to know it's not just the Google portion, it's the Amazon as well.
Gotcha.
Okay. Carl wants to know, of almost all social profiles, links tend to disappear when linking to many sites / URLs so that you have to scroll down, like Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, etc. When having many links on social profiles so that you have to scroll down and always a new page gets loaded, does it lower the power of older links that are very low and can only be seen by scrolling down? What are your thoughts, Jimmy?
Sorry, show me the question again. The one you're highlighted on?
Yes.
You have to scroll down and always a new page gets loaded. Does it lower the power of the older links? No, as long as they're, so if you have to scroll down, I mean, all the link juice that comes from that one URL is spread throughout as many as you have on there. So I'm not even sure if that's what, I don't think I'm following the question, but.
So, you know, I know what you're talking about, Carl. So, like on Twitter, when you're looking at somebody's Twitter account, you can scroll way down and you can see all of their old tweets, but each one of those tweets actually has its own URL. And that's actually the key. So, when we enhance the tweets out of Social Explosion, we enhance those individual URLs, and the primary page for that account also links to all of those individual pages. So they never actually lose their link juice, and that they're never actually not there. Yeah, if it doesn't have some kind of an activity, I think that's normal with Google. If an account, if a social account doesn't have regular activity, or if, you know, something that's deemed to be kind of newsy kind of falls out of the news, then it loses its edge a little bit. I've also noticed that Google just tends to kind of age links, and it ages different kinds of links different ways. In other words, the value of those links diminish a bit over time. So, so that's the other reason that we have all of our stuff running on a subscription base, where you're getting new inbound links all the time. But those links are always going to be there, and they do always have some kind of an impact. Bourbon asks, from one former DoD contractor to another, Jimmy, I finished a programmer for, oh, okay, Lackland Air Force Base. I see that you and a few people still use GSA to add page authority to Web 2.0s. I have also heard you say that if your list is from GScraper, it's dirty or unfiltered, and you should build these links only on Tier 4 and beyond. I reverse engineered the National SEO site and found tons of high DAPA GSA style links on the second and third tier pointing to Web 2.0s, which have very high PA themselves now. The site still dominates for Nashville SEO keywords, so I'm assuming this tactic still works. My question is, how do you filter the GScraper scraped URLs today without the use of PR and link detox? What steps and tools do you use to get the clean, filtered lists?
Wow.
Well, a lot of the GSA you're probably seeing, so I don't know if people knew, but Nashville SEO got negative SEO a long time ago. So I don't recommend putting the GSA to the second and third tiers, pointing to it, but yeah. I wouldn't, that's a rare, uh, that site in particular is a rare case because use an alternative method to bring it back from the dead. But trying to figure my way through this question. So, but as far as like, using the G scraper today, like I still run it through a detox. Um, it's just detox that I'm running it through, and that's how I filter the list now. And yeah, but you can check like 50,000 links from one report, so it's not too bad. Just depends on how big your verified list gets.
Exactly.
But I don't typically spam the crap out of GSA anymore, just because that tends to lower trust flow and the way that I do my interlinking. So.
Good. You guys, everybody get that? Give me a 1 if you just heard, so we don't have to make him repeat himself, because we get this a lot. Okay. Cool. Everybody heard that. All right, good.
Sweet.
Times they a changing.
Some Space Ranger Jiu-Jitsu. I think that's the only thing that Jimmy actually ever does.
I don't do much but sit behind a keyboard. I occasionally get out to fly drones.
What?
I'm trying to get you out. I'm going to get you out when I get over there. Crickets.
Yeah, I'm reading this next one. Redirects count as tiers. In other words, when I do a redirect from my old website to my new website, do the backlinks from my old website count as tier 2? Nope, they're going to count as tier 1. Jimmy said category pages are very hard to rank, and therefore some of your plugins create an actual WordPress page to serve as the category page instead. I'm about 2 weeks into a site that is primarily video content, which is siloed nicely into categories. But the object was to push power to the category pages to make them authoritative over time. It would be semi-painful, but should I redo these category pages as regular pages? I do like how the current category pages organize all the posts, which makes, well, yeah, that's why we wrote our plugin, was because so the category pages, WordPress category pages are harder to rank than static pages. Like, I suspect it's just the nature of the beast. Even when I have a theme where I can put in content on the category page itself, I just find them really hard to rank. So that's why we made the plugin. And I can appreciate that it's a pain to move that stuff around. But, all I can say is that that's why I wrote the plugin, and the plugin makes the sites rank really easily. And, yeah, that's all I can say. If it were me, I would redo it. Is it possible to grab PBN domains and then simply redirect the URL to your money site? I know it may have a small loss in juice, but couldn't you save tons of time and effort by doing this? I'm guessing Google would not be happy with the setup. Same with, well, so here's the thing. Yeah, you can grab a PBN and you can redirect it to your URL, but you're bringing the good and the bad with it together. So in other words, unless it's a pretty clean domain, you're going to bring any bad trust flow along with. If an inner page of a PBN has a lot of power, is it worth recreating the URL structure instead of redirecting all the juice to the home page? if inner pages of PBN had a lot of power, is it worth recreating yours? I would probably either 301 it or recreate it, yeah. Hi, Sue. What makes up the domain authority of a website? Is it mainly the number of pages on the site? Every page on the site is going to add to the domain authority, but it's also the inbound links. Long story short, Matt, no, this is from Matt Cutts. Glad to see that you're back. You haven't been here for a few weeks, Matt. Long story short, I had a traumatic emotional experience last November. Experienced the same thing everybody does. Lost motivation, lost focus, brain fog, sadness, depression. After about a month, I was back to normal, except for my mental focus. For example, I always attend your DC Webbies. Oh, that was why you were gone. But my brain checks out after about 45 minutes. Is there anything you could recommend? Bulletproof Coffee, Bacopa. I'm desperate to get my mental edge back, but I'm ignorant in nootropics. This is a nootropics question, Russ.
The first thing I would recommend is that you use your real name. So you step out of the shadow.
What? This is Matt Cutts.
Well, I'm just messing around. I don't really think that we should answer mental health questions on a SEO and digital marketing webinar. However, when it comes to nootropics, nootropics are just good all around. We do not treat, give advice for. Do I need to do the disclaimer you see on TV with medical?
Probably.
We do not claim to treat. We are not medical doctors. You should see your healthcare practitioner. Blah blah blah. These are the disclaimers we put on all of our websites too, right, Sue?
Yep.
Nootropics is different for everybody, and we don't make any claims. We've tried too many. We've talked to too many people who are doing too many things. You might want to maybe go to the Bulletproof conference in California. I don't recommend all the Bulletproof. The Bulletproof coffee was too weak for Sue, so we sent that back. Didn't we have that at your house or something?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, it was like weak. Like I had to like.
It was like. Yeah, it was bad.
I'm sorry for those guys, but we found it to be a little bit. It is, mold free and all that stuff. But generally speaking, there's a lot of.
I like the mold.
There's a lot of. There's certain nootropics you can get that you should just read about, and just those of you who are into that kind of stuff, things like Noopept, and it's very inexpensive, but you have to try it for yourself. And again, I'm not willing to.
Everybody has a different experience.
Yeah.
It's really hard, for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So take your vitamins, as they say. Anyway, we should move on to the next question. I don't want to go down there.
The more links a page has, the lower the trust flow is. Will I throw off my trust flow if I get more social signals for each of my DAS stack?
Can I say something else on that previous one before we move on to the technical?
Sure.
A lot of the times, our entire team has talked about this. If you have this sneaking suspicion that your entire business and life is a stinking pile of crap, then it doesn't matter how many nootropics you take, you're not going to feel good. And generally that speaks to the fact that your plan or your architecture, your ability to manufacture wealth and to understand how to engineer a business for profitability and long-term success is not in order. This is why we spend so much time at the live certification event and other things we do just on less but better. Less but better. You don't have to be embarrassed about it. And one of the things Matt Cutts was saying is I'm embarrassed to talk about it. Trust me when I say all of us have these. Here's the horrible truth. In some ways, the more bored you get with what you're doing when it comes to business architecture, probably the more you're beginning to do right when you start to leverage large amounts of money. But what you got to do to take away that boredom is begin to incorporate your long-term goals. And really, one of the things I'm really, really big on, and this is just my personal opinion, is strength-based investing. And when I'm saying investing in your own businesses too, is what I mean. Focus on the strengths and your what one of my friends calls your stupid human trick. In other words, the thing that you're really good at. Each and every one of you has something that you were born to do and is valuable in the marketplace, meaning there's an exchange of wealth, exchange of money, rather, that is going to work for you. Some of us hate the stuff that we're really, really good at, okay, that the market values the highest. But you can always find a way to get straight with that. And once you start building a plan that is less but better, and you're really, really clear on what you do, okay, and you're really not giving yourself away for free, okay? Once you have that point where you realize that the big moment for me, I don't know about Sue or Jimmy, but the big moment for me was when I realized that something that I do incredibly well, that I did it so well that I didn't value it, and then I found out it was worth $4,000 an hour. Any of you guys have anything like that you've discovered yet? Anybody in the audience here discovered that what they have is worth anywhere between $109, and $10,000 an hour? Have you guys discovered that yet, that you're good at? That you just do naturally, and you were embarrassed to find out that people valued it way more than you did? You didn't even know it was valuable? Give me a one if that's happened to you yet.
I can juggle a single ball.
Yeah, this is an example, and the example is with Sue. We found out, like, there's people that would pay Sue like $5,000 for 2 hours for her business development skills. Sue and I had this. That's funny, Paula. You're always distracting me. Sue, someone would pay Sue for her business development skills for several $1,000s for a couple hours, and her day rate is off the charts. And the irony is that, we talk about her as being a software architect. She's also a wealth architect and a profit engineer for the businesses. So, it's kind of funny when you realize that you're good at so many things. Each and every one of you has the skill that you're trying to develop. In this context, we're talking about SEO, of course, and that can be something that you gain as a skill. The time and energy you guys are putting into this is worth really, really huge amount of money. And you might already have things that you do really well. When you incorporate into that plan, I have found people that I've met who were not clinically depressed. They thought they were. They just really didn't like what they were doing because they really didn't understand. They didn't have a plan or a blueprint that was laid out, for their own success and running their business. That's just one thing I wanted to rant about before I moved on to the technical, Sue.
All right. So one asks, the more links a page has, the lower the trust flow is. Will I throw off my trust flow if I get more social signals for each of my DAS tag? So no follow links are free for all. They don't lower your trust flow. So social signals, almost all social signals are no follow links. So you're good to go. Bourbon asks, for the silo pages, I understand it's critical to use high relevant, high co-occurrence LSI terms, but do they actually have to be parent-child related? For silo pages, I understand it's critical to use high relevance, high co-occurrence LSI. Can I implement this concept on a similar site with only the root domain and inner pages? So in other words, my fitness domain has got sub-pages or pages about exercise workout, exercise training, etc. Well, that's just it. So the question is, if this could work, what would my internal linking structure look like? So let's just look at the internal linking structure of a site for a second. Website silo architecture. This one. Dang. All right. So this is a silo, right? And within this silo, the silo landing page links to all the articles. All of the articles link to each other, and they all link back to the silo. So if you didn't actually have, I need like a blank file here for a second. If I had, where did it go? I hate it when that happens. There we go. So if I didn't have the rest of the site, and all I had was this silo, then every page would link to every other page. And that doesn't really get you anywhere, right? So let's look at it without the, this way, you've got a home page. The home page links to the silo landing pages. And then when you're in the silo landing pages, it links to all of these pages. All of these pages link to the silo page. But all of these pages do not link to these pages over here. These pages link to all of the silo landing pages. So every page on the site links to every silo landing page, which means every silo landing page is like a sink well for link juice, right? So the silo landing pages are where all of the rank juice pools in your website. So you have your most competitive terms on your silo landing pages that you want to rank for, and then you have supporting concepts underneath it. And then when you build, let's say you build 5 links to every single page on your website, and you think about that for a second, all right? So So if you've got five inbound links to these 5 pages, that's 25 inbound links to this silo. And all 25 of those inbound links, all that link juice that comes to these pages, it only points to the silo landing pages, right? So this link juice isn't distributed across the other supporting articles. So that's how that link juice pools in your silo. So of course you can have, to go back to the question, of course you can have a site like this that's just got 5 pages under it, but it's not a silo and it doesn't really net you anything. All right. Did we have a question come through?
Questions.
Oh, that's a long question.
Questions.
I'll let somebody else figure out Greg's question. It's too long for me to read. And
Greg? Oh yeah, that's Greg. You got to go stick that in the omg.software area and then drop that in there like everybody else. Just kidding, man. But I'm not. You actually do have to do that. Mario. Mario is saying, please post silo links and you mean you want that article? He wants that article.
This thing over here. All right.
Okay. Mario, how's it going, man? We're getting way too close. Feel like we know all of you guys. Mario,
Right?
Pat,
We do know all these guys.
Paula, you guys are regulars, like committed people.
Right?
Dedicated. Persistence is the key.
Dedicated, not committed.
Oh, okay. Although they've talked about committing me.
They did. I'm not starting that rumor. I'm still new, watching through the dash section. This is in regards to the first video. Mr. Kelley, I'm going to need you for this. This is in regards to the first video introducing the use of RSS via Hootsuite. What is the point of the Google dashboard apart from showing you which devices are connected? Can't we just go ahead and create all of our G+ and social profiles without logging into it? Or are we supposed to actually link our Facebook, Twitter, etc. to the dashboard?
Okay, that was kind of my area. The Google dashboard was just a way for me to describe how sorted and creepy Google can get. So I was just trying to get you guys an understanding of that. Everything that you do when you're logged into a specific email account is connected on a back end, and their accountability to you as a user on that back end is google.com/dashboard. That's all I was trying to teach in that module. I hope that was clear. I wasn't saying that it was necessarily good for anything, but it is kind of good. It is kind of good.
Great.
Well, it's good for connecting things, but the place that you really want to connect it is on your Google Plus page. Okay, so your Twitter, yes, you should, when you add your Twitter and you can connect everything to your apps area. For instance, if you have an application and you're on Twitter, that native app or that application that you're using can connect and ask to be connected to Google's application, then that does connect to the infrastructure that you have tied to your Google dashboard. And there's all kinds of benefits about that, but my main thing for you guys to know is that the google.com/dashboard area is a place for you to see many things. How many Google apps do you have turned on? For instance, if you haven't opened a Webmaster account with your Gmail account, then it's not currently connected to your google.com/dashboard. Give me one if you guys understand that, how that works over at the Googleplex, just so you know. In other words, every time you add on a new application, if you were to open 300 Gmail accounts, not that you would ever do that, each one of those would have their own google.com/dashboard, and every single Google application that they offer could be tied uniquely to each and every one of those Gmails. So in theory, you could have 500 Google Analytics accounts, not that you'd ever want that, 500 Google Docs, 500, right? In other words, all of that is connected on the back end. That's their database. The purpose of that lesson was just to let you guys know that that is where it's connected, and they are watching the connections and what you do and how you behave across all those applications. Additionally, it's a place for you to connect or disconnect applications that are running third-party through your Gmail or Google Application Center. Okay, just nice to know. The SEO value that I think Jimmy and I covered some of that is on the Google Plus page. You can add your links. You can add your Twitter profile link. You can add your Facebook profile link on the About Us page to your various pages. That's a place where you want to add your social accounts in terms of the link juice, in terms of the domain authority. So that's what we're discussing in that module.
Okay. The next question. Can you explain the DAS concept? If not, where can I learn it? I don't mean the DAS videos in OMG. I want to understand the concept.
The
To
concept
me, the
is,
concept is, go ahead.
sorry, Sue, I didn't mean to walk all over you.
Let's go.
Go ahead. Do you want to hit it?
Open. Go for it.
Should I just drop the wiki link, or? It's like
Sure.
500 times we talked about this, which I don't mind doing. I'm trying to find the best way. I don't recognize the name of this person, so I'm wondering he must be new.
Yeah.
That's okay. I actually will. Domain authority stacking is the ability to stack domain authority and manipulate trust flow in a safe and sustainable way that allows buoyant rankings for the sites and pages targeted by the high domain authority social platforms. That make sense? Or is that too? I don't know how to pronounce this gentleman's name. That would be probably the toughest name that I've had to pronounce in a long time. Jalin, are you here? Okay.
I was going to say that the DAS concept is all about manipulating trust flow.
Yeah.
That's essentially what you're doing with DAS.
Yeah, and we really, I know you don't want to, you're saying that you don't want it in terms of OMG. Well, that doesn't make sense because we have 3 different webinars where there's over an hour of intense, one of a kind in the world discussion about the manipulation of trust flow, which is the heart of DAS. So Jialing, I think that's how your name is pronounced. Go back and watch they are very clearly marked. Go watch the discussion where we talk about trust flow and DAS in the directors, in the area, in the Project Breakthrough area, okay? I'm going to go ahead and drop a couple links here for you to read as well, including, compared to Jimmy, incredibly novice level. I call it for my 4 dummies level description of what Jimmy spent a whole night trying to explain to me as a beginner what DAS is, and then I made some videos. Did you ever see those, Jimmy? Are they approved or on RSS and DAS? Did you ever watch them?
Yeah, I think they were good.
Yeah, I think
If
they
I
were.
remember right, it's been a little bit of time since then. But...
I didn't go out beyond the bounds of what you were saying, so that was kind of the 4 dummies, and some people were helped. So I'll go ahead and pass that to you guys. Could probably move
While
on.
you're doing that, I'll take the next question.
Let's just move on. Yeah,
Andre asked about Ghostery, and we actually covered Ghostery, I think, in both of the last 2 webinars, albeit briefly. And
yeah, I've changed from that because of Michael's stuff.
Right.
Can I talk about that? Or?
If you want to.
Yeah. Folks, I had meant, this is on my list for last week. Again, this is independent. I haven't got a thumbs up from Jimmy on this, and I haven't got a clear thumbs up from Sue on this, but it's information that I got from one of my experts that I pay close attention to. He wrote the books on open source intelligence techniques and hiding from the internet. He wrote the book called Personal Digital Security. His name's Michael Bazell. If you get a chance to read his work on that, he's got some pretty good stuff. He stopped using Ghostery because he found a leak in the irony of ironies. The thing that was supposed to be protecting you from the people following you is following you, right? So he found something that he likes a lot better called disconnect.me. Disconnect.me. And before I decided to announce this to you guys, I studied them in depth. I looked at their CEO. I looked at the whole team. I've been using the app for over 4 or 5 weeks now. Really, really faster and less of a load than Ghostery. And it's not they do have a browser-based extension if you want it, but it's got a desktop app, very light. And the proxies are stellar. So if you want to try disconnect.me and just use it at your own risk. I'm not saying that you're going to like it, but I'm recommending that instead of Ghostery at this point. Ghostery has been a nice Mozilla widget and plugin. It just doesn't have the infrastructure and the security knowledge behind it. And because it's got all those graphics and animations to try to give you a visual overview of who's following you, disconnect.me doesn't have all that bandwidth. They're not doing the visual display. So if you like the visual display, you can keep Ghostery. Disconnect.me is pretty light, so hopefully that's a useful tip for you guys.
Cool. I want to rank a single landing page which is promoting one service. Can Social Explosion help with ranking a site like that? A single landing page. Yeah, sure, it can help. Look, there's just so many variables in a single page. I don't know if it's like a single page of a larger site. I don't know if that whole site is themed to the same topic as that landing page. The more pages you have around the theme on site, the easier it's going to be to rank. If it's, you know, a fairly nominal term, then social explosion can make a decent stab at it. Otherwise, it can help, sure. On a static page, on a static web page feed that looks like this, would there be any benefit of adding social explosion? On a static web page, no, there's not going to be. So like this is just going to be, so in other words, you're talking about like putting that feed into social explosion. And what it's going to do is it's going to promote the About Us page for however many credits you've got that set to, and then that's going to be it. So probably what I would do, instead of just throwing that into a feed, I mean, you can do it. It will help. It's better than nothing, but you're only going to get, you would get the same kind of promotions to that entry on that feed as you would to your other feeds. Responses. Okay. So let me just look at the page then. It's not usual that you actually want to rank an About Us page. So I would have to say, like, what is it that you're trying to do? Normally when you're trying to rank a page, you've got a particular keyword in mind, and that keyword is either in the URL string, which you've got SEO specialist in the domain, or in the title of the page, and then the content, you do have the SEO specialist again on the content. So I don't know, I'm looking at that page and it just doesn't have too much going on for it. It's pretty shy on content. SEO specialist, I don't know how competitive that keyword is, but yeah, I'd have to like try and figure out what it is that you're trying to do, and I probably wouldn't do it quite that way. I'd probably, if I'm trying to rank a page for SEO specialist, I'm just thinking there's 100 things going through my head. So if I'm trying to rank a page and I want somebody to take an action on that page, so you do have phone number in the upper right hand side. This does have a little bit of content on here that might make me think about calling you. But if I really want to encourage somebody who's just looked up the term SEO specialist to actually call me, I would put some kind of a compelling video or something on here. Like I would make it more Moorishness. But yeah, you could rank this page, and how much social explosion would help would depend on how competitive that term is. Where can I purchase the vSilo plugin? Can you give me the link, Russ, for the, isn't that Video Silo?
The current one?
Video Silo plugin?
Yeah. They can still get that one, and we have a new one coming out soon enough.
Yes. As soon as I can quit doing webinars. All right, so Thomas says, thanks for your mentorship. Can Jimmy diagram the difference between a DAS cluster and a DAS stack? Well, fancy that. There is no such thing as a DAS stack. Actually, it is only a DAS cluster. I registered a Tumblr blog with an insane PATF metrics plain links and already themed for my keywords. Can a DAS strategy be applied to a Tumblr blog? Sure, a DAS strategy can be applied to anything. But if it's already got insane PA and TF, then why? Clearly it's not ranking for the term you wanted to rank for despite the metrics. All right, yeah, sure. Thomas, thanks for all you do. I'm new to Network Empire and SEO, trying to connect the dots with this new vocabulary and gain a visceral versus cerebral understanding of a couple of concepts. What is link juice and how does it flow? Well, link juice is just like apple juice, and it flows by pouring it into a glass. No, sorry, maybe too much coffee.
And it's like apple cider. If there's too much of it, you get drunk.
Right? So link juice is a colloquial way of talking about both the trust flow and the power. Jimmy, when you refer to it, are you talking more about power or trust flow or both?
Colloquial? What does that mean? I'm messing with you.
Link juice, so, okay, maybe I should define what I think is link juice. Link juice is everything and anything. So whether you're using DA or PR or PA or trust flow or citation flow, or I don't give a crap what you call it, that's what I refer to as link juice. Because...
all juice. Juice is juice.
Yeah, juice, yeah, exactly. Juice is juice. So when you take a thing of orange juice and you pour it in a cup, there's juice.
We did this at OMG Live, you guys.
Yeah, I did this. You pour it into a cup, it's still juice. So what kind of juice and whatever it is doesn't matter because you still end up with a cup of juice in the end. Power versus trust. Now that's where, so trust is basically, I mean, it's Majestic's own unique calculation of how trust flows to a site. So power I refer to more as in realms of PA or PR, or whatever you look at your power thing for, that's what I look at power as. So power versus trust is basically, you need trust. It's usually high DA.
Muted.
It's trust flow to measure it. There is a little bit of difference between the two, but you could still use both to measure what you're trying to go after. And then power is just juicing it up.
Unmuted.
Which is just link juice. And obviously some juice is stronger than other juice.
Cool.
You know, you got Jack Daniels and you have, apple juice.
And then you have moonshine, and you have mead.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you're going to have different power coming in from that kind of link juice depending on how strong it is.
Very good. Does that make sense to the questioner?
There's one more part to this question. How do each of these Network Empire tools influence these metrics? So a DAS stack is all about trust.
How much
One
time you
feeds
got?
supercharger. One feed supercharger. I would say that that's just juice. vKraken actually doesn't contribute either power or trust. It adds more pages to your site, which by its very nature is going to add a bit of domain authority. But Social Explosion is going to increase your domain authority.
Indeed. Good answer.
Good.
One feed supercharge is more like a soda fountain that you got to put your own juice in and decide how you want to mix it together before it goes out and is distributed to other locations. So one feed supercharger is essentially a self-service aggregator that goes on your blog. Whereas Social Explosion, we actually hand you guys power. That's why Social Explosions probably cost us more than anything we've ever built, except maybe for Kraken, because there's the Network Empire Social Signals Exchange network of all the accounts and users and all these things. There's social signals going out everywhere. There's massive you guys might even know this. There's a massive back end for Social Explosion, just like there's a massive back end for Rankazon. Rankazon's a Amazon-centric version of handing you juice, and lots of it, depending upon the package that you buy, because those social platforms have a lot of domain authority. So that's hopefully an easy way of describing that to you guys.
All right.
Give me a 1 if you guys understood that, just a little group interaction so we're not...
So everybody's awake?
That's why I was doing those beeps. No, sorry about those beeps. I was turning off a computer thingy here. I did not realize I was on there. All right, we got something. Looks like we're okay. Most people are grabbing the essence of that. You're welcome, Thomas. Thanks for the clarity. Andy says he gets it. Chris Lee says green tea is green tea if it's green tea. Yeah, unless you mix green tea and chamomile. You know, I mean, it depends on the source. So you can actually look at different, it's kind of a weird metaphor, but I actually liked it. People, when Jimmy did that at the live event, it did make sense. They got it. You can have different types of juice from different, you know, when you mix it together, it's still juice. So cool.
Is that called a graveyard?
Uh-huh.
Or is that only when you have alcohol?
Dang, girl. I don't know. I don't even understand what you just said.
Oh my goodness gracious.
A graveyard?
A graveyard. A graveyard is a bunch of mixed stuff.
How much tequila do you have right now?
I have no tequila because somebody drank it on Saturday.
I'm sorry. That one just went, you know, once in a while you have that airball moment. That was like whoosh.
Guys, give me a 1 if you know what a graveyard is, and a 2 if I just showed my age.
Oh, is a graveyard a drink?
Yeah, it's when you mix
Oh gosh, you are
the alcohol together into
I was thinking
and
graveyard. I was standing over tombstones, and I was like, okay, this is getting a little weird. Like, you know, I was trying to imagine juice in the graveyard. It wasn't pretty.
Well, suicide. Yeah, suicide and graveyard. I think they're the same thing. It's the same kind of concept.
I think we need to give you a suicide graveyard, whatever. Okay. All right.
All right. So this may have been asked before. Can you recommend alternatives to the page column for creating RSS feeds for our social properties and Web 2.0? You know, this has been asked before, and I don't remember what the answer was.
Okay.
What are we using? What are we recommending for people to create RSS feeds for social properties?
Oh.
That might have been a Jimmy Kelley find.
It depends.
It makes them unsuitable for one-feed supercharger. Yeah, the page column is unsuitable for one-feed supercharger. I agree.
Okay.
George actually put in what the graveyard is.
Oh, there's the actual ingredients. You naughty boy. George.
Rum, that's what screws with you. Dang, and vodka. Woo, and gin, and tequila, and bourbon, and scotch, and beer. Oh my goodness.
Yes, I'm trying to get to the essence. Ben, the essence of your questions is many are the ways. There is a couple of plugins, and the reason I'm not going to give you guys the link to the plugin is because what?
It wasn't a plugin, it was a third-party source that actually creates an RSS feed.
Well, yeah, there's several. In fact, the one he mentioned does as well.
Yeah. But the page column is only temporary.
Yeah, that's the point. That's the one that Greg Morrison talked about, and I also talk about it on onefeedsupercharger.com. And there are plugins that allow you to turn your page in, but I'm not going to recommend because the recent one I was using doesn't work so good, and there's been a rebuild. So I'll try to get you guys the plugin. Right. It adds the pages to your RSS feed.
Is that all we're trying to do? I thought we were trying to... No, this is for Web 2.0 properties.
Oh, for third-party feeds?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that they can grab a Web 2.0 and create a feed out of it.
Well, generally speaking, the way that we position that, unless I've missed something, which is entirely possible, some social platforms have an RSS feed and some don't. So if there's a magical, device that turns
There's a magical device.
Damn, well, I want that.
There's a magical device. And Jimmy talked about it when he was doing his, what was that magic trick he did with that third-party site? It wasn't Dig, but it was something like that.
We need to find that because that's not on my radar. I'm going to add that to The list. Okay.
Tumblr. It was the Tumblr method.
Interesting.
And yeah,
Okay.
and since he hasn't like popped his little mic and said boo, I'm assuming that he stepped away from the computer for a moment, so we'll
Yeah,
find
I
it and get
have.
back to you. I'm using vKraken on my PBN sites. I'll have to set up, I have it set up to pull video and title, video description, as well as the actual video onto each post. Frequently, the video description will include links, phone numbers, addresses, etc., placed there by the creator of the video. Will this cause me to leak too much link juice? No, not at all. Do you suggest that I change vKraken settings and leave out the textual descriptions? You're worrying about nothing. So the occasional the occasional link out from your website is a perfectly natural thing, right? Like, everybody links out from their website. And I think that the good that you get from the content far, far, far outweighs the occasional outbound link. All right, so Ben also asks, how can we modify DAS to rank YouTube videos that are not tied to or embedded on a website? If we have several videos on a single YouTube channel, would we treat the channel page as the equivalent of the website homepage and the individual videos as the equivalent of inner pages? You can certainly do that. So yeah, you can absolutely do that, because as you increase the page authority of the channel page, that's going to obviously increase the page authority of all of the videos in that channel. Yeah, that works just fine. Can you explain how to use pure volume in a DAS stack? I don't know what pure volume is. It seems to be a music site and not a Web 2.0 where you can put up content with links. Well, then I would say that you can use it just like any place else that you can put up content with links. Since I'm not familiar with it, and if Jimmy's around and he knows about it, please feel free to pop on and say something. But typically what we try to do on those properties is get, 2 to 3 pages of content. So if you can do that with your account, then it's all cool. And if you can't, then I might think about using a different platform. Carl has a simple question. Is it okay to use the same article without spinning and submitting to thousands of websites with GSA on Tier 3 or Tier 4? No. I know this might create a penalty, but does it still help to boost the page authority on, for example, Tier 3 or Tier 4? I'm asking this because in my language there are no automatic spinning tools, and hiring people can become expensive in my country. Yeah, it is a pain to write spin text by hand. I will agree with that. No, Jimmy's actually moved away from using GSA largely. He does what he needs to do mostly with DAS stacks. And if you're in a country that doesn't have a spinner, then my gut hunch is the competition is not all that awful, and you should be able to rank for anything with a modest DAS stack. Please comment on how you are featuring for this. Guardian World IS, Homeland Security, Privacy, Data, Internet, and this. Keen to know your thoughts. All right, we'll take a fast look. Just because it's a soapbox kind of a day, eh? Cybersecurity bill could sweep away Internet users' privacy. Oh, like it hasn't already been swept away. Oh, sorry. Was that a soapbox? Department of Homeland Security on Monday said a controversial new surveillance bill could sweep away important privacy protections. Oh, don't get me started.
Oh, but we want to get you started.
No, you don't really. It's not pretty. So let me say this about that. if technology, as we know it today and as we can imagine that it will be 30 years into the future, if it obtains its maximum value, society will change completely. This means currency as we know it will change entirely. Our social structure will change entirely. Our political structure will change entirely. And things that seem important today will no longer be important.
Right. The manufacture of wealth, the movement to microbanking. You know, each one of us on the team has our own interests and passions in the area of futuring. And that's one of the advantages that we have together. The first step is not to read The Guardian. No, just kidding. The second, you know, for me, I adhere to the Futurica trilogy. Is my favorite book on futuring, philosophy, economics, microbanking, and the future of what we call the netocracy. It's a little bit on the socialist side, but not really. It's really more about the transition of wealth, of how we manufacture wealth as a society when the digital world gets to the third and the fourth replicators, really where we're heading. And so,
Jaron Lanier also has got some good thoughts.
good stuff, yeah. You can. It's a little thick. I don't know if you guys have read any of Jaron Lanier's work. He's the guy who did a lot of the coding for the technologies and animation platforms such as Maya that helped build characters in Hollywood such as Shrek and a lot of animation stuff. He has a book called Who Owns the Future? It's not a bad read. You might want to look at what we call the intelligent servers. He calls them siren servers. And if you look at Berners-Lee, one of the fathers of the internet, yeah, he's got a recent terrifying video, which I'll try to find for you guys, where he actually is pointing out that many of the corporations throughout the world are now animated by artificial intelligence almost completely. So we're kind of, he doesn't say it's coming, we're already here. So it's kind of interesting, you know, when the way that we view technology, well, actually, let me just speak for myself. The way that I deal with all this is where the shift occurs is when you begin to understand that although artificial intelligence and siren servers, as Jaron Lanier calls them, or the netocracy, as Alexander Barr and Jean Soderquist call it, is really starting to surround the camp in our world, the web is primarily becoming a communication mechanism, a one-to-many and many-to-many mechanism in which broadcasting is a significant part. And there are a lot of things that are happening that we didn't suspect would happen in terms of it becoming another channel of communication. So the human side of the web, in other words, you know, we just have the ability to do business, to create arrangements, to have joint ventures, to manufacture wealth across great distances. And as the netocracy kind of rises, all the skills that you guys are learning, they might change their form, but there's aspects of your brain, there's aspects of your skill sets, there's aspects of your adaptation to technology, specifically the third replicator, where you will be able to adapt to other things more quickly than those who did not engage in these technologies. And so that's the good news, is that you know, Sue and I talked about this weekend, our educational systems are changing. You know, my children right now, my teens, are just bored to tears in school to the point where, because their brains have adapted with that Nintendo thumb, with that iPhone, with the gamification of their world and their life. By the time their children are born, we're going to have an environment in which it's pretty normal to be going to school like this, and you know, and having, you know, a technological social media environment. So my point here is that as we move into the netocracy, the skills that you're learning will change their form, but you have to look at the things that really don't change. And one of the things that doesn't change that much, it won't change in your lifetime, is that human beings will attempt constantly to communicate in order to do business. The nature of that business and the nature of the financial institutions, the nature of the microbanking, the nature of the political infrastructure and the manufacture of wealth might change, but the essence of the skills that you're learning can be readapted. In fact, we found that our students around the world who are working on SEO and digital marketing, they're some of the most adaptive people that we've ever met. And that's the good news. So that's my little soapbox. Should I put that away now?
No, I'll just take it from you for a second.
Okay, go for it.
You know, I'm a little bit older, and my parents were old when they had me. And so my dad was born in 1920, and
You had parents?
and my grandparents were born in the late 1800s. And so I heard stories when I was very young about what it was like before cars became popular, and what it was like, the trauma that society as a whole experienced as we moved from a horse and buggy era into a car era. And the idea that cars would never be popular, they would never catch on, it would never work. And as you move forward into the Industrial Revolution, you get radio, and then you had television, and yada yada. And my dad used to talk about the changes that he saw in his lifetime and how massive they were. And I think about the changes that I've seen in my lifetime, and I see change speeding up, changes becoming more and more frequent. And so so when you look back over history and you look at I mean, human beings don't like change. The way our brains are developed, we resist change, and we find it scary and frightening. And so as more and more change comes upon us, we start to feel like the situation is out of control. And so there will be a lot of unrest before things smooth out, and this next jump in evolution gets to a plateau where all of that seems normal. So it's, I mean, on the one hand, I think it's an incredibly exciting time to live, and on the other hand, it's going to be really interesting. So,
Isn't
it's like the thing that I would say in terms of all of that is,
Isn't
yeah,
that
it is.
Yeah, may you live in interesting
The
times.
thing that I would say, yes, the thing that I would say about all of that is the idea is that you tend to wrap your hand around and not want to let go. You know, you're going to pry this from my cold, dead hand. Just take a second and really ask yourself, like, what does it really mean? And what would really, like, what's really wrong with that? Like, what do I really have to hide? Like, what would happen if everything about everybody were actually known? What's so bad about that, other than we have been taught that personal privacy, our whole lives, personal privacy is something that we value? Other than that concept, what is the big deal? All right.
Give me the soapbox. No, just kidding. Yeah, by the time our grandchildren's grandchildren, they'll be like, what's the big deal? Like, there will be no privacy. Like, everything's hanging out there. Nobody cares that everything is on the web.
Yep.
They just don't give a crap. I mean, it's just part of it's what you call cultural and philosophic change. Everything, you guys, wherever your mind wants to go with that. Sexual dynamics, emotional dynamics. We're going to move into an era 5 generations from now that we can't imagine. And, you know, honestly, you just really don't want to. So take another sip of your tequila and focus on building manufacturing wealth now. Because wealth will go through various forms of transmutation. And here's another thing. I do have one confession and a belief that I will share with you guys since we're on this soapbox. I do not believe in the economic collapse of financial institutions after the last 5 years of watching, and also listening also to a lot of the people who, like Jean Lanier, who works on some of the banking servers during the crash. What you're going to see is more and more safeguards on these siren servers that manipulate and manufacture wealth at with different kinds of safeguards. And the way that the financial institutions are operating are getting more sophisticated so that they can control the wealth of the 1%. And that being said, you got to become the 1% by understanding how that, what we call the cash flow profit cycle actually works. It's an engineering process just like everything you're learning in SEO. And that being said, there is a transformation happening, but the likelihood of what you would consider to be like some kind of international global collapse was actually diminishing as time goes on. Now you're going to see major tectonic shifts in where the power flows from one wealth flows from one investment country to another as the walls change, at least, and go down. But you will also see the rise of microbanking, which we already have going on in a big way.
Yep.
And just learn how it works. But your business is a form of microbanking,
Yep.
so just jump in and just get excited about where this is going.
Exactly.
Cool. All right, I'll shut up about the future. Don't get me started.
If a social property and a PBN have about the same Moz, domain authority, and page authority, a social property and a PBN, do they pass the same trust and power to many site? Or is the power less from the social site, even with the same page authority as the PBN, because the social sites have so many links going out from so many accounts? It's not the links going out, it's the themes on the pages. So a social property is going to have hundreds of thousands of pages, and the themes are going to be diverse, whereas your PBN, chances are, has far fewer pages and therefore a higher percentage of pages that are themed around the content of the link. All right, if Moz, domain authority, and page authority are just an estimate of trust and power, as Google might judge both, does that mean trusted Google data partner sites are actually better for passing trust and power than other sites with similar Moz, domain authority, and page authority? Sometimes. I mean, Google definitely favors what it favors, but, again, you got that whole thematic relevance thing going on, and yeah, there's a lot of variables there. Like you're talking about too many variables for me to really be able to take into account. The other example was much more clear-cut. Number 3, if you build up the page authority of a social site to match that of a PBN, the page authority to match that of a PBN, does the social site still deliver less power to a money site than a PBN with the same Moz page authority? I'd have to know what the domain authority of the two sites were. There's too many variables there. Google seems to be going after PBN networks hard. How long will the PBN technique be viable for delivering trust and power to a money site? 9 months ago? Are we near the point where building web rings of the network empire sort? You're going to ask the CEO of Network Empire what's the next question? I'm not going to get another soapbox. All right. Question number 5. There are WordPress plugins that will build hundreds of thousands of WordPress posts. Some people use that to build sites to target local cities and state-specific services.
Surf shaker. Just kidding. Is that what you're talking about? Oh, did I say that? I thought I was muted. I'm sorry. I thought, oh, crap.
I like that because it actually sounded like the ground rumbled.
I can't, wasn't that David Hood's plugin or it's one of our guys, isn't it? Friends or somebody?
Some use the plugin to add local content to a WordPress site. How is Google looking at those sorts of sites or sites that might have siloed areas of those sorts of pages and posts? Well, we actually have a plugin that'll build hundreds of thousands of WordPress posts.
Well, I think your question is, well, that's Video Kraken. But she's talking about the local. We just covered this in our Network Empire webinar today. That's why I'm confused. I feel like it's deja vu all over again.
Well, this is a plugin. What we covered in the Network Empire was how to build and how to create the syntax for that.
Oh yeah, because that was it. The main thing we are kind of watching with bated breath is it's been possible at the local level to create the exact same content on multiple pages just with different destinations, more or less, without getting Google's vengeance. And we're kind of waiting for the shoe to drop on that, have been for a while.
So this is actually a different question. We've covered that last week on this webinar.
Yeah, but my question is more interesting.
Okay, fine.
Now let's go ahead. I'm teasing you. What is? I don't get the question. What is she making a question or is it a point?
Some people use that to build sites to target local cities and state-specific services. Some use the plugins to add local content to a WordPress site. How is Google looking at those sorts of sites?
Yeah, that's what I was just getting into.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about what we talked about on the other one.
Well, I am, but it's implied here.
Okay.
The SERP shaker and other things, there's a bunch of them out there. I think David showed me that one when it was still in the box. It wasn't bad. I understand how powerful it is. I just wouldn't rest your whole business on it because it's going to go away. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. Sue's another soapbox. This is a whole other topic. You just got to be careful because we do have friends with directories. My friend Jerry West was creating mass local directories like this since 2010, I think. And it's been working like gangbusters ever since. I mean, we're talking tens of thousands of pages, just the same content with local stuff. And it mostly works, but it's not going to work because we now know that, in fact, I think Sue was telling us earlier today that Matt Cutts directly confronted this as they're working on that. It's going to go bye-bye. So that's one thing that you might want to be aware of. Creating huge numbers of pages, I love it. In fact, tomorrow's certification level week 3, certification level 3 week 3, automaticvideotraffic.com, we call it the billion page club because there's no limit to the number of engagement pages that you can. Well, there's a limit, but it's not very.
There used to be a limit, and then Jimmy started playing around with it.
Yeah, no, we are big fans. Here's the question that it depends on the kind of page, okay? Currently, right now, YouTube videos are well received by Google, and that is because of their engagement. It's a banner syndication system on a massive scale with a hypnotized audience glued to the videos, right? So the reason that Google loves video, we call it engagement rank, is because people are just, it's called the attention economy. People love to watch television, and they can display their ads inside those YouTube videos. So really depends on the kind of content and the way that the context that you present that content in automating, we call it auto blogging. That's kind of a bad word in the white hat communities of SEO.
What?
But it really depends. It depends really on how and what kind of content. So the kind of inside joke that we have at our company is, let me ask you guys a question. If there's a web page out on internet land that someone has automatically generated, okay, it's a complete robot page, and it has it has 10 real human visitors on it who are happily watching television or watching a YouTube video or engaged in the video. Is that web page still spam? Give me a 1 if you think it's spam and 2 if you think it is irrelevant whether it's spam or not. That's really the right question to ask. 1 if you think it's spam, 2 if it doesn't matter. Okay? Yes, it does not matter. And yes, it might be considered by somebody's definition spam. So you have to really look at the propaganda of what is being said and who's saying it. And our automatic video traffic course and all the great work that Sue and Mike Hayden, who's with us. Hi, Mike. I don't know why you're not a presenter, but Mike Hayden's here. Really, Mike is saying if a page falls in a forest of engagement rank, is it still spam? Exactly. I mean,
exactly.
If you've got people watching that, what Google cares about is engagement, and it's really moving towards what Alexander Bard calls an attentionalist economy. That's going to be what matters more and more with each and every year. It's just a question of who has the eyeballs and how long those eyeballs are engaged, okay? So when we create pages and when we teach to create pages, we're focusing on things, distractions, attention grabbers, these types of things that make sure that people stay on the page. In fact, so prolific is the attentionalist economy that things like native ads and retargeting, companies like, InfoLinks, and you guys have seen MGID, all these companies, and Retargeter, most of the ads that they present and retarget with are these engagement-based entertainment. 46 actresses who did not age well. You've seen the things, right? 14 things to do for your skin before, all these like headlines, they're now being manufactured because they're the headlines that work. In the same way that Network Empire teaches the painkiller article method syndicated through the one web ring perpetual downstream semantic web integrated domain authority traffic system. The advertising agencies and the new form of advertising is now taking these same kind of headlines and monetizing these ads because engagement rank is what matters. They're drawing clicks. Yahoo was the first to do it with these headlines. If you go to yahoo.com, just go to the homepage, you can see these headlines, the way they roll out. They're engagement-based, distraction-based, entertainment-based, celebrity-based shock spots. And those attractions are generating billions of dollars right now in revenue. And it's the new kind of distraction attention economy. So what we teach you in automatic video traffic is how to automate this stuff to the tune of several million or even 1 billion pages Jimmy's already done. Okay, so want to let you guys know there's nothing wrong in principle with auto blogging. It's the type of content and the quality of engagement that it gets that matters. Thank you.
In fact, I guarantee that as quiet as Jimmy's been on this webinar, he's put up another 1 billion pages.
Yeah, I think he's working on that right now. Actually, he's working on something else, but we'll tell you after.
Oh, fine. I'm always the last to know. Fine. So, WordPress plugins. Is there diminishing return on using the same root properties for DAS? In other words, 6 different pages on my site from 6 different Tumblr blogs. Why? You know, if you look at any of Jimmy's images, you'll never see more than a couple of links to a money site from any one DAS property. And so I would just kind of take that as gospel.
Gospel.
Gospel. We should do the Jimmy Kelley Bible.
Oh no, that would just be the camel that struck the needle in the haystack and walked through the eye of the needle. Okay.
Is there any value in having more than one domain name pointing at the website? Is there any value in having more than one domain name pointing at the website?
Can you be more specific?
aucklandplumbers.co.nz and aucklandplumbing.co.nz. You know, I wouldn't do that because it sounds to me like you would have exactly the same content on 2 different domains. And so that's never really a valuable thing. On retirementhomes.co.nz, which has 2 branches, with a separate domain name pointing to the section of the website related to that particular branch. Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Yeah, so the disadvantage would be, the disadvantage is going to be duplicate content on different domains. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I actually did that by accident at one point in time because I had my server set up improperly. So I had 2 or 3 domains that all resolved to the same content, and Google was not happy with me. My site got de-indexed pretty darn fast. Yeah. Just because it was 100% duplicate content, right? The entire site was duped. All right, that's the end of the questions. Do we have anything over in the question box that we need to address?
Thank you. Good night. No.
All right.
So we're going to wrap it up tonight. You guys were awesome. This was a huge gathering tonight. I hope we weren't too crazy. We actually got into epistemology and philosophy and futuring and all kinds of crazy stuff. And we had some awesome SEO conversations. Let's see what time we got. It is 6:45.
We could bring on Mike for 3 minutes. I made him an organizer.
Does he have something important to say?
I don't know, but we could just let him say hi because he's got that cute Aussie accent.
Oh, geez. I'm going to pretend that I didn't hear that. Tequila. Okay. Mike, do you have something interesting to say?
Tell us.
How you doing, buddy?
I have an interesting question to ask him.
Yeah, do it.
Mike, out of the 5,432 changes that you've made to the Silo plugins over the last couple of months, which one is your favorite?
I like the one where it works properly.
You naughty boy.
I should define that one. No, I like the one where you can change the slug on any of the pages and it automatically updates everything.
That's the one you recently did, right?
One of many that I recently did.
Well, that's the one thing you've recently done, right?
It's a toss-up between either that or in the latest 4.1 where you can delete entire silos from the manual silo builder. It's going to save so much time.
You're awesome, dude.
Just doing all kinds of stuff.
Have I told you how awesome you are? Or should I not? Maybe I shouldn't. I don't want it to go to your head. You are truly awesome.
Thank you.
This is really good stuff. You guys, we have just quality stuff going on with these. Mike coming on board and fixing some of the spaghetti code. I really appreciate that. Really, really appreciate that.
That's fun.
Okay, cool. So what else can we say? Shock. Let me. I'm reading all this stuff. Hang on. How's the video crack? How's the video cracking plugin? Unlimited's working now too, right?
Should be.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so here's the announcement that I promised for tomorrow. David Mills wanted me to mention that there is the webinar with Cotton Grammar tomorrow, and we are going to release more information about Rankazon. It's possible that the Rankazon link that is on omg.software will be removed and taken elsewhere underground because it is an exclusive software for you guys right away, at least right now. So don't forget to hit that webinar tomorrow. And if you have any questions about Rankazon, we're working on some bullet points, working on the help files already done. Sue's done a great job of that. So do not forget to check it out.
Andy, and I want to say that the change that you requested for the plugin was actually implemented over the weekend.
Mine?
So, no, Andy's.
Andy's. Oh, Andy Heaps.
Yes.
What plugin did Andy Heaps request?
He requested that you be able to change the number of posts separate from the number of pages in the widget on the sidebar.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, at the moment you can say you want 10 links displayed or 20 links displayed, but when you had a whole bunch of posts, then it would run the pages off the bottom of the page.
And
so now, yeah.
Okay, and that the other, do I have this wrong that now you don't have to delete the cat? Like if you delete something, like you don't have to go to all the trouble deleting the cats or
That's
that.
right.
So there's no more manual delete function. So if you want to get rid of a silo, it's done.
Yeah, if you want to get rid of the silo now, an entire silo with all the category pages underneath it and then all the posts underneath that, you just click the silo and then select delete.
Mm-hmm.
There's a prompt that says, warning, you're going to destroy everything. And then it
Completely.
basically throws everything into trash. So if you go, oops, I didn't mean to delete all that, you've at least got the content.
Okay.
It deletes all the categories. It deletes all the posts, or like everything. It goes to trash or goes into nowhere, and it deletes all the extra tags. So you're not going to have code lying around in your database after you've stopped using it.
So you're scrubbing the database too of all that junk.
Yep.
Wait, I thought you were an attorney, man. Like, where did you get your these ninja skills? I mean, it's just awesome.
Taught myself.
So excited about this. So there you guys have it. We have awesomeness coming your way. Keep in mind that Simple Silo Builder is already available for download. Works really well with Video Kraken Limited and Video Kraken Unlimited, which is in the automaticvideotraffic.com course. So you can go to
I'm also working on rolling out those changes to Simple Silo at the moment.
Okay, so everything you just described should be implemented on an upcoming version of Simple Silo.
Will be on
okay.
an upcoming version.
And will that update directly from the current version of Simple Silo, or they would need to delete and reinstall?
If they've got any version from 3 onwards,
okay,
then it'll automatically.
Which is where you picked up the ball at 3, so, right? So, okay, good. So SEOsiloplugin.com. SEOsiloplugin.com is where we're rolling out the new versions of that, and the Simple Silo plugin is available on the sidebar. Just click Simple Silo, and it will take you to the current version. All right, this is exciting stuff, you guys, and of course, this ties into all the other enterprise level things that we're creating. Sue and Matt DeCruz and myself were on the phone for, I think Sue was on the phone like a total of 6 hours yesterday, just dealing with all of our development stuff. It was just
7
nuts. Oh my God. Yeah, but good stuff coming your way.
It's
and
exciting.
Very exciting times at the Network Empire family, and you guys are all part of that. So we look forward to seeing you next week on Tuesday on the project breakthrough. Is going to be in the afternoon instead, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, it's going to be in the afternoon instead. And of course, oh, by the way, any of you who are not in the Director's Cut, formerly Director's Cut, currently Project Breakthrough Network Empire hybrid Skype room, where we've blended together. That room is getting pretty full. All you need to do is contact me on Skype at handle ThemeZoom, one word, or you can go to networkempirenews.com, and on the right sidebar there's an app you can click and it'll pop up and annoy me and poke me to put you in there. Okay, so either way you want to do that is fine, and we will see you in that room. Now, that room, we did invite every one of you to today's Network Empire members only webinar. We extended an invitation to you, and today we covered a huge topic of the semantic web. We had a guest speaker, Network Empire staff member, and ex-semantic web expert, Kevin Pauly. He was there on that webinar today. It was really great. Jimmy was there. That is already uploaded, and I'm going to drop the replay. Actually, I don't think I have. I'll have to talk to Sue about that. Just so you guys know, I'll get you the replay for this one, okay? So those of you who did not make it, you'll be able to see it. It gets you a little sneak peek of what we have inside the members area. Other than that, Sue, do you have any final words you want to wrap up with?
Domination, baby!
Dominate! Behold the whip. All right, you guys, I'm going to be heading off to Austin here in a few days to hang out with the crew. And Mike, thank you so much for everything you're doing. And we will keep all of you informed, everything that's going on. We'll see you next week. Different bat time, same bat cave. Look forward to seeing all of you on the inside. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Cheers.